I want to talk about Dance With Me, Henry. Yes, I want to dance with me.
No, wait a minute.
Well, what's all this talk about Dance With Me, Henry?
Oh, no. What's on second?
The hilarious legacy of the late great Lou Costello and his companion Bud Abbott, who became famous throughout the world for their outrageous slapstick routines, is sure to keep people laughing for years to come. Fans had no idea that under the surface of his humor was a complex guy who suffered through unspeakable anguish. Chris Costello, Costello's daughter, is now speaking out about her father, confirming the allegations and illuminating Lou's hidden secrets, agony, and complexity, 64 years after his abrupt death at the young age of 52. From his relationship with Bud to his family life, this unique film delves into the unknown secrets, so be sure to watch till the end. We will address any of your inquiries. It is necessary to comprehend the origins and formative experiences of Lou Costello before delving into the mysteries and intricacies of his life. The dynamic city of Paterson, New Jersey, was the site of Lou Costello's birth on March 6, 1906. The warmth and cultural depth that his Italian-American heritage brought to his life and humorous style were profoundly influenced by it. Helen Reggie and Sebastiano Cristillo, his parents, were important threads in this cultural fabric. His mother had mixed Italian, French, and Irish ancestry. His father was an insurance salesman and silk weaver from Certa in California, Italy. Her great-grandfather, Francesco Regge, was born and raised in Piedmont, Italy. While he was a student at Paterson's Public School 15, Costello became famous for his extraordinary athletic abilities. On the basketball court, he was unstoppable, winning Paterson's free throw championship back-to-back. In the 1945 film Here Come the Co-Eds, he displayed his basketball abilities by showing off his ability to pull off spectacular trick shots. Also, Costello was a successful boxer who went by the name Leo King. His childhood in America was a colorful melting pot of Italian and American customs. He learned the importance of hard work, humor, and family at an early age. Life throws curveballs to everyone. Lou had his share, and his daughter Chris has just revealed and confirmed speculations about the many catastrophes that befell him. To find out more, continue watching. An unplanned meeting altered the trajectory of comedic history in the early 1930s. Their connection was palpable when fate brought Lou Costello and Bud Abbott together. The legendary comedic team known as Abbott and Costello came into being as a result of this fateful meeting. Together, their styles were a mesmerizing blend of opposites that worked wonderfully. The humorous synergy between Abbott and Costello was unparalleled in the vaudeville circuit, thanks to Abbott's level head and Costello's boundless energy and wild antics. Abbott and Costello worked tirelessly to perfect their comic timing, trying out a wide range of skits and honing their signature brand of comedy. As time went on, their routines grew more elaborate, taking cues from commonplace situations, Abbott's sardonic sense of humor, and Costello's energetic character. They spent those early years painstakingly crafting routines that will resound with fans for years to come. Their foundational achievements in radio, cinema, and television were built upon their relentless pursuit of artistic perfection in vaudeville and burlesque. They became closer as a comedy pair and honed their comic timing via performing live. They became famous and forever changed the entertainment industry because of the close friendship, mutual regard, and harmonious relationship they developed during this time. Their hilarious radio broadcasts brought in an ever-growing audience and catapulted Abbott and Costello to stardom. The Who's On First performance they performed became famous all over the world. This classic sketch is still treasured by comedy fans today for its brilliant wordplay and spot-on comic timing. Abbott and Costello's unparalleled synchronization is brilliantly shown by the routine's complicated and apparently incomprehensible speech, which is brilliant in and of itself. Their widespread radio popularity cemented their status as innovative comedy trailblazers, and they won over listeners throughout the country. Their career-defining shift occurred when they made the leap from radio to Hollywood. Significantly, their 1944 album One Night in the Tropics introduced their humorous genius to a wider and more diversified audience, marking a major milestone in their career. They had a series of successful films in the 40s and 50s thanks to their charismatic on-screen connection and hilarious antics. They became Hollywood celebrities thanks to their stellar filmography, which was loaded with commercial successes. Audiences and reviewers alike were captivated by Buck Privates and its hilarious portrayal of military life. Of all their films, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is the apex. The classic horror comedy was revitalized by the dynamic chemistry of the two leads and their legendary creatures. Their ability to deftly combine comedic elements with tension captivated viewers of all ages. They established themselves as adaptable performers with film projects like Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man, which demonstrated their talent for injecting comedy into varied stories. Their future efforts aside, the comedy routine has become so ubiquitous that it may have eclipsed the partnership in terms of cultural impact. Without hesitation, the pair took advantage of the routine's popularity by recreating it scene by scene from another film. In 1945, The Naughty 90s was released as the second film featuring Abbott and Costello's iconic Who's on First routine. That same year, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello celebrated their 10-year working relationship. By the 1950s, however, their mutual hatred had begun to overpower them, and despite their popularity in the 1940s, both performers were starting to feel exhausted from their partnership. Whether it was the repetitive nature of their slapstick routines or the strain of always being in each other's company, or both, it seemed that Bud and Lou's deteriorating relationship was the main reason for their decision to end their partnership. Nevertheless, some people had Lou Costello, the comedic luminary, left behind a legacy brimming with laughter. Yet, unknown to many, he grappled with heartache and adversity behind the scenes. Despite his global acclaim for slapstick comedy alongside Bud Abbott, Lou was a complex individual who silently bore immense suffering. More than 6 decades after his untimely passing at 52, his daughter, Chris, now sheds light on his life. Despite his public persona, Costello remained an enigmatic figure. Chris confirms long-standing rumors, delving into Lou's concealed struggles and offering deeper insight. Lou Costello's personal journey was marked by love, profound sorrow, and an unwavering commitment to making a positive impact beyond the glitz of Hollywood. In 1934, he tied the knot with Ann Battler, setting sail on a voyage brimming with love, family, and steadfast support. Together, they crafted a life intertwined with the demands of showbiz, navigating its peaks and lows while placing their family at the forefront, which became the cornerstone of Costello's existence. However, amidst their joy, Costello and his family were hit by a heart-wrenching event. Chris, who is the daughter of Lou Costello, reveals an underappreciated aspect of her father's character by saying that when he was off-screen, he was considerably more subdued and collected. Lou knew how important it was to keep his personal and professional lives separate. Although he was a comic genius on screen, he didn't necessarily bring that same level of humor into his home life. Instead, he took comfort in being himself and didn't feel the need to amuse his family with comedic routines. Chris recalls him as being rather reserved. Lou understood the value of taking time to unwind and recharge his creative spirit. When he wasn't in the limelight, Chris mentioned that after long days of filming, Lou would often find solace in the simple pleasures of reading the newspaper or enjoying sports and westerns on television. At home, Lou didn't bring his comedic antics from the studio. Chris clarifies that despite portraying mischievous troublemakers on screen, he was quite different in his personal life. She explained that he wasn't one to entertain with pratfalls or any other clumsy antics at home. He had a different side to him when it came to his wife and children, a gentle and grounded father. Unlike the unrestrained Costello that everyone was familiar with on screen, he found joy in bringing laughter to his children, preferring to engage them through interactive games rather than relying on silly physical comedy. Lou understood the importance of timing and context when it came to comedy. Lou, the famous entertainer, had high standards for his children in terms of behavior, respect, and education. He wanted them to be respectful to adults, do their chores without complaining, and study hard. In fact, he even withheld a car from Carol because she didn't want to go to school. All of this was driven by his desire for his children to grow up to be responsible adults and contributing members of society. Chris brings attention to Lou's unfaltering commitment as a husband and father. Despite his busy career, he was totally committed to his family, especially his mother, whom he spoiled after moving her from New Jersey to California so she could be closer to him. The stability of his home life was a refuge from the stresses of his career. Lou Costello deeply cherished his family, feeling an immense sense of pride in his 4 children, Christine, Carol, Patricia, and Lou Jr. Patty Costello, the eldest daughter, born in 1936, preferred to stay out of the limelight. She found great joy in her life outside of Hollywood, but couldn't help but feel a profound sense of pride in her father's comedy legacy. One particularly touching moment for her was when a nearby elementary school began performing Lou's famous Who's on First routine annually. After attending one of these shows, Patty approached the young actors with tears in her eyes, expressing how deeply moved she was. She shared that her father would have been overjoyed to see children performing his skit, highlighting Lou's passion for bringing joy and laughter to children's lives. Decades after his passing, Patty was deeply moved by how her father's talent continued to inspire new generations. Though she kept a distance from the spotlight, Patty ensured that her father's art thrived by actively promoting and organizing performances of his most beloved comedy acts. Carol Costello was born in 1938 and shared her father's passion for the entertainment industry. Unlike her older sister Patty, Carol had small roles in 2 of Lou's films in the 1950s, Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, and Abbott and Costello Meet the Keystone Cops. She was thrilled to get a glimpse of her dad's world through the magic of the big screen. As she got older, Carol followed in Lou's footsteps and found her passion in television production. She worked as a talent coordinator on popular game shows like Card Sharks and Trivia Trap. Her father's lively and charming personality clearly influenced her. Carol had a television career that was a touching homage to Lou's lasting impact. She shared Lou's pleasure of performing, which helped to keep his memory alive until her untimely death at 49 years of age from a stroke. Let me tell you about Christine "Chris" Costello, who was born in 1947 and is Lou's youngest daughter. Lou, who would read her bedtime tales and cheer her on in school performances, is a special person in her life. He died suddenly when she was just 10 years old, which was a devastating blow. Chris honored her father by sharing touching anecdotes about his role as a caring parent, transcending his comedic popularity. Born in 1942, Lou's son was called Lou Jr., although everyone loved to call him Butch. The horrific drowning tragedy that killed their son, Lou Jr., in 1943 rocked their family to its foundations. We return to March of 1943. Following his winter tour of Army sites, Costello fell victim to rheumatic disease, which rendered him immobile for 6 months. That year, on November 4th, he returned to the team's much-loved radio program. But bad luck befell him while he practiced at their NBC studio. It was terrible news for Costello when his little son, Lou Jr., drowned in the family pool. Without the nanny's knowledge, the infant had loosened the slats of his playpen and plummeted into the pool. The baby would be turning 1 year old in just 2 days. Before hearing his father on the radio for the first time, Costello had asked his wife to keep Lou Jr. up so that he could listen. "Wherever he may be tonight, I want him to hear my words," Costello said boldly before continuing the broadcast. As a result, the concert was not canceled. His courage was very admirable, wasn't it? Leave a comment below and tell us what you think. Tragic news did not reach the crowd until the show was over. During Bud Abbott's reflective account of the day's events, he mentioned how Costello, in an incredible act of strength, personified the age-old saying, "The show must go on." Maxine Andrews of the Andrews sisters stated that fateful night, Costello's demeanor changed significantly after the terrible death of his son. Her impression was that he was less friendly and carefree, and that he became irritated easily. A change in his expression was plain to see. The tragedy had a profound impact on Lou, and he never fully recovered emotionally. Tragically, the death of their kid changed the trajectory of the family's life. Costello and his family felt an overwhelming amount of grief during this time. It changed their perspective on life and made them realize what's important. Lou was in utter despair. He said that following his son's funeral, his soul was placed to rest in the casket. In his private life, the director, who was famous for his wild and crazy films, adopted a more reflective and solemn attitude. Spectral echoes of his previous luminosity remained as his aura waned. An aura of utter melancholy replaced the previously festive mood in his house, which ought to have been a haven of comforting familial love. As her father, Lou, retreated into a world of muted emotions, Chris, who was his daughter, watched him alter. Her mother was profoundly saddened by the loss. Beyond the tragedy of their kid, it seemed as though she mourned the loss of her husband's joyful and carefree self, who had been consumed by immense sadness. Living through the ups and downs of having a father who was so famous was an unforgettable experience for Lou's children. Nevertheless, they pay tribute to him by reminiscing about happy times and carrying on his legacy of pleasure. Many people fail to grasp the complexity of the facts surrounding the renowned comedy team of Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Although they are widely regarded as one of the most legendary comedic duos of all time, stories of animosity and conflict between the two guys have persisted throughout their extraordinary 21-year collaboration. Despite the difficulties that came with their celebrity, Lou and Chris Costello were very close, as Lou's daughter, Chris Costello, clarifies. In the middle of their hectic performance and shooting schedules, the two obviously had their share of arguments. Money, screen time, managerial decisions, and contractual duties were common points of contention. Because he and Bud were not given an equal split of the earnings, Lou in particular had a hard time getting over his sentiments of bitterness. Chris claims that they were together for nearly 20 years, and that they had their share of arguments throughout that time. Which is the usual, isn't it? Keep in mind, though, that despite these differences of opinion, animosity never developed. Despite all that came their way, Lou and Bud were able to get through it because of the love they had. In 1959, at the age of 52, Chris's father passed away unexpectedly, leaving her distraught. The reassuring presence of Bud brought her peace throughout this challenging period. It was so heartbreaking for Bud that he couldn't control his emotions as they watched a vintage video of the beloved "Who's on First" routine. Sharing his deep longing for his beloved companion, he confided in Chris, a little boy of 10 years old. Chris now understood that the bond between Lou and Bud was indestructible, regardless of their past problems. From the very beginning of their vaudeville pairing, their relationship flourished. It was effortless to combine Lou's carefree behavior with Bud's collected attitude to produce hilarious humor because of their amazing comic chemistry. They were fast friends from the start, and their bond withstood the stresses of fame as they moved from stage to radio to cinema. Lou and Bud treasured their union and understood its special worth. Even if they had conflicts from time to time over earnings and who should have the spotlight. After the sudden death of his comedy buddy Lou, Chris reveals that Bud had a hard time regaining his feet. With each new companion, he failed to achieve the same level of success. He made sure to clear up any confusion in interviews by saying that allegations of hatred between him and Lou were totally baseless. They touched the lives of millions of people with their comedic talents, and those impressions lasted a lifetime. According to Lou Costello's daughter Chris, the actor's life was characterized by significant personal struggles, notwithstanding his vivacious and joyful cinematic presence. The fatal drowning of Lou's young son, Butch, in 1942 was a terrible loss for him. Lou will never forget this devastating incident. Chris claims that after losing his baby, Lou's life changed irrevocably. Despite his reputation for hilarious mayhem on screen, The director maintained a somewhat more solemn and quiet demeanor in his private life. As he became emotionally detached from his kids, Lou's formerly sparkling eyes lost their luster. According to Chris, her mother felt a deep sense of loss that day, not just for her son, but also for the more carefree and energetic version of her husband. Regrettably, the Costello children never got to know their lively and joyful father, Lou. A juvenile activity facility proudly bears the name of Little Lou's creator, Lou, who poured his grief into its development after his son's accident. Even while it could never quite compensate for the void left by his son's disappearance, the charity became home to Lou. After waiting almost 15 years, Chris suffered yet another terrible loss on March 3, 1959, when young Lou died of a sudden heart attack. The realization that she would never see or hear her father again had a profound effect on the 10-year-old. Throughout her life, Chris felt the weight of the trauma caused by her father's abrupt departure. She freely admits that she frequently fantasizes about Lou's survival. The short time she has spent with him has left her feeling profoundly let down. Despite Chris's profound emotion at Lou's creative legacy, the emotional scars from his own losses have never completely healed. His goodnight kisses and bedtime stories are treasured memories that she will always remember. Although young Louie and her father's deaths have brought immense sorrow, Lou Costello's life was brutally cut short, but his unforgettable humor and selfless nature have ensured that his laughter will go on. The things Chris Costello hopes people remember her father for are his great generosity and hilarious sense of humor. A watershed moment was reached in 1956 when the Baseball Hall of Fame inducted Lou and Bud Abbott. This particular honor was bestowed upon them in honor of their illustrious Who's On First routine, which has become an enduring element of baseball lore. The astute wordplay of the skit propelled it to the position of one of the most impactful comedy acts in history. The induction of Lou and Bud left an everlasting mark on American popular culture, establishing their place in history even after 60 years. In the years following his passing, Lou's iconic routines like Who's On First still regularly appear in different types of media. His innovative comedic style can be seen in a broad variety of media, from classic reruns to contemporary films. Chris often encounters younger people who are learning about and enjoying her father's work. The legendary routine breathes new life into Lou's legacy. Chris is also able to witness her father's kindness continuing to make a difference through the Lou Costello Jr. Youth Foundation. This foundation, which her father established, is still active today and continues to offer valuable services to underprivileged children. This perfectly captures Lou's belief that money should be used to benefit others. The foundation is truly remarkable in its commitment to making a positive impact through its platform and resources. Chris finds it crucial to underscore that Lou's family is the true embodiment of his enduring legacy. She passionately recounts cherished memories of her beloved father, ensuring his story is conveyed with genuine authenticity. She speaks of Lou with great admiration, recalling how he would cheer her on during school plays and patiently teach her how to fish. Chris took it upon herself to ensure that her own children truly understood the exceptional nature of their late grandfather. While it's impossible for any recordings to truly capture Lou's spirit, his legacy lives on thanks to the efforts of his loved ones who are dedicated to preserving his memory. Chris pays tribute to her father by revealing the untold stories of his extraordinary talent, his close bond with Bud Abbott, and his unwavering kindness. Her portrayal of Lou goes beyond simply capturing his comedic talent. She also allows the audience to truly understand and appreciate the man behind the laughter. He is truly a legendary figure in the annals of Hollywood. His unexpected departure created a void in the young girl's life that would never truly heal, a constant ache that would endure for years to come. The absence of her father reverberated like a deep void, serving as a poignant reminder of the lasting impact of loss. Chris's adult years were burdened by an unfulfilled existence, constantly reminded of the precious moments she would never get to share with her father. Lou Costello's legacy is a testament to the joy he brought to the world, providing comfort in the face of personal hardships. However, for Chris, it provided only partial relief, falling short of completely soothing the deep pain caused by the significant losses she had experienced. In the midst of her life's darkness, Chris held on tightly to glimmers of light, treasuring the memories of her father's heartfelt bedtime stories and his loving goodnight kisses. Lou's impact is felt not just in the pages of entertainment history, but also in the cherished memories that provide solace to his daughter. As time marches on, despite his untimely departure, Lou Costello's comedic brilliance continues to resonate throughout history, serving as a reminder of his enduring legacy and the profound sadness that accompanies personal loss. What do you think? Let us know in the comments section. By the way, if you want to keep up with the latest news and learn more about your favorite stars, click on the video that will appear on your screen. I'll see you there.